Soresan's Top 10. Yo, what is up, Crockxen clan members and others who are watching this video? I am SoresanCrockxen, and today I am bringing you the first ever top 10 videos to this channel. Now, today's top 10 will be of my top 10 favorite animes. Now, this is just strictly my opinion. If there's any of them that you do not like and maybe you prefer another one, just leave it down below in the comment section or with the video response. So, I have certain criteria for the series that I have picked and for my top 10. Number one, it has to be over 50 episodes long. It cannot be shorter than that. Two, I have to build some form of connection with at least one of the characters in the show. Three, it has to have a captivating, interesting story for me to watch it. Um, there has to be some form of character development at some point in the series, or I can actually see the progress of character. Not a lot of repetitiveness, and for me to be able to rewatch at least some parts of it again without feeling like it's boring anymore. Um, so with that out of the way, let's get started. Number 10. So starting off at number 10, we have Dragon Ball Z. Now, I actually don't remember too much about this series because I watched it a long, long time ago. I was a lot younger, and the reason I have to say, like, one of the main reasons why this is even on the list is because it was one of the first animes I ever watched, so it always had like a little spot in my heart. And it definitely fits. It was 276 episodes, so that definitely fits the criteria. Uh, but like I said, I don't remember too much about the series. I know that I loved it and it was awesome when I watched it. One thing though, although I haven't watched or rewatched any of the episodes, it's mainly due to another reason. So I guess this is a little bit of an exception to that rewatching. It's not that I don't like the show anymore. It's just that what happened afterwards prevents me from watching some stuff. Now I know they revamped the series like I think it was two years ago. I have not watched any of the Dragon Ball Z Kai episodes, but it's basically the same thing according to what I've read. So there's not much of a difference. So yeah, number 10, Dragon Ball Z. Number 9. Coming in at number 9 is Digimon. Now, this one is kind of a special case in this criteria, due to the fact that the characters change in every season. Now, I only watched 5 seasons because Cross Wars to me was really just way too out there, so I didn't really like that much. And I already, when Data Squad came out, I was kind of like, about it. But in season one, like that's always been my favorite. Coming right after it would be season 3, then season 4, season 2, and then season 5. Um, so this one is, it's over 50 episodes in every season except for number 5, which was 48 episodes, which is only 2 under the mark. Counting it as a whole, it's over 200 episodes. Um, I did like the characters. Like, now the thing is, when it comes to Digimon, you kind of have to see both sides. So there's the Digimon themselves and then the humans who are their partners. Um, I did enjoy the story. At least for the first seasons, they were a lot more captivating than season 5. Um, Plus, the whole concept of season 5 was a little kind of weird to me, which is why it's just the bottom. But I always loved the way the characters work in season 1. It was great. I loved it. I'm still mad about how it ended because I was one of those fanboys. I was like, Kai and Sora, we're gonna be together no matter what, and then it didn't end up like that. So like that's something that I like to have in an anime, to where I'm like always thinking or hoping something will happen, like just interactions with certain characters, which then makes you come up with ideas in your head, Sometimes they happen, sometimes they don't. But this series is another one that I watched when I was way younger. When it was part of the top threes. With Digimon, Yu-Gi-Oh, and Pokemon. So it also has a special place in my heart. I actually did rewatch season 1, season 2, and season 3. I watched season 4 a little bit when I was already a little bit older because I rewatched the other 3 series and seasons, and I decided to watch season 4. And I did like the concept in that one, but at the same time, since it was a little different from the other ones, it kind of threw me off a little bit. The whole concept of people turning to Digimon was a little weird, but it wasn't bad. Like, I did like the Digimon in it too. Um, it was a great show. I actually would not mind watching season 1, season 3, and season 4 again. Season 2. The thing about season 2 that I didn't like is the fact that the characters that they showed up, it was like right after season 1 characters. And while season 1 characters were involved, you were like always wishing the season 1 characters would do more. Because, I don't know, they always seemed better to me. Now, I didn't. It's not that I didn't like season 2 characters, it's just that Ty and the gang were just way too. They were just much better than season 2. But yeah, so that's Digimon for number 9. Number 8. Coming in at number 8, we have Yu-Gi-Oh! Now, yes, it's another one of the top threes from previous generation. Um, this one, I also watched when I was little. I watched most of it and then rewatched it like 2 years ago. And I had rewatched a little bit of it before that. Um, I thought it was an intriguing story. The whole series, like as a whole, I have to say 5Ds was horrible, and I'm not really into Sexdoll either. GX was passable, but the original Yu-Gi-Oh story, like the actual like Yugi and Yami Yugi and Joey and Tristan and like those guys, that storyline was incredible. There was a like freaking uh hold on, 5 seasons, and and they were like the story of each individual one was always getting better. Uh, the monsters, I gotta say, I prefer the originals to the new ones. I still think the Egyptian god cards are like the beasts of everything. Like they don't doesn't matter what new awesome ultra monsters they keep making. I still think the Egyptian god cards will always be number one. Um, Plus they also look the coolest. Like I don't know what it was. Plus, I do have to say that in GX, the way the dormitories were set up kind of made me angry. The Egyptian god cards themselves were supposed to be sort of even, but you notice that technically some were better. Like Ra was the best, yet in the GX series, Ra was the second highest dormitory in the entire campus. So that's one thing that kind of ticked me off a bit. Raw is my favorite of all three, so that's kind of my biased opinion, I guess you could say. I gotta say, Yami Yugi was a beast. Like every time he dueled, and I know he wasn't the only one to duel, but every time he dueled, I was always pumped up. I was always excited, especially when he drew that Dark Magician. If anybody's a Yu-Gi-Oh fan, you know that when he drew that Dark Magician, it was going down. Like there was no question about it. I just the stories though. The I gotta say that the tournament that Kaiba did, I kind of like that. That was one of my, I guess more. It was more, or it was my the one I prefer the most. But in the sense that the Dueling Kingdom one was good, but it just didn't compare to season 2. The ones with the dragons was okay. The season 5 though, that one was like awesome in the sense that the final duel, like the finale was just awesome. Um, it did. make me teary eyed when I watched it because it's like the end. I get it symbols the end. To see Yami Yugi, be gone basically. Um, but yeah, this stories of this it was really good. I really did enjoy it. And one reason why it's above Digimon in Dragon Ball Z, well Digimon in particular, is because the characters stayed the same until they switched series. Digimon didn't do that, and that is one thing that kind of ticked me off a little bit about the series. Um, but yeah, so at number 8 we had Yu-Gi-Oh. Number 7. Coming in at number 7, we have Soul Eater. Now, Soul Eater is just one episode above the mark, so it just barely made it into the list. And a little bit above the other one. So, Soul Eater is that show that I actually watched it a little bit later than normal. Like, I didn't watch it when it first came out. I didn't even know when it came out. But thanks to other people, I was able to find it, and it was amazing. I loved it. I gotta say, I connected a little bit with Soul. I kind of liked his attitude. This is a show that I'm actually planning to rewatch soon, actually, in the next couple weeks, after I'm done with college and everything. Um, it was just it also was that one show or that one series where I was like, this is really it. Like it was kind of like I wanted more. Like when the season or the series ended, I was like, there has to be more. There has to be more. I felt like um, it was complete. Like what happened was complete. Like the plot of that first part was done. Like I got it, but I was like, please be more. Like I was like hoping for more. I haven't read the manga, so I don't know if there's actually something afterwards. That's one thing I want to get back into because I did read manga before and I just stopped at one point. Um, so I will have to check that. But yeah, like this show, like there was a lot of good, and I do plan on rewatching it. Um, the action in the show was awesome. I love the way the development for Maka worked and how she grew. Like I feel like she got a lot of development throughout the series, especially being able to control Witch Hunter near the end. Like I like it when a certain type thing takes a really long time to master because you can actually see the growth through the process. Like in some shows, I've noticed like they get a new power and they master it like that. And I feel like there's not a lot of development for the character. You don't see their struggle to learn this technique. So I did like how that worked out in this show. Uh, gotta say, Death the Kid was freaking hilarious. I still think Excalibur is a troll. Like, and that's one thing I always keep telling my friends and anybody who I try to get to watch this show, like who hasn't seen it before. I'm like, you're gonna see someone who's named Excalibur, and he is a total troll. But he was funny, even though he was trolling everybody. I still thought he was hilarious. I love the episodes he was in. It was really interesting. They were really interesting episodes. Um, Black Star was kind of cool. I loved his development, how he evolved from just being this goofy kid to. I mean, he was still kind of funny, and the interactions that he had with Soul made it even better because they worked so well together. Um, but just the way he went from just this being really goofy kid who wasn't able to do anything to a very competent fighter. Like I love the way him and Tsubaki both grew together and just got better throughout the series. So yeah, this show I would if you haven't seen it, I would definitely recommend it. It's only 51 episodes long, so it doesn't take that long to watch it in my opinion. Um, so yeah, number 7 we had Soul Eater. Number 6. Coming in at number 6 we have Sket Dance. Sket Dance is that I think the only show in this list that doesn't have that's not action based. I actually just finished this series, which is actually weird for it to make my top 10, even though I just finished watching it like 2 months, a month ago, I think. Um, but that's how good it was, from at least for me. Sket Dance to me, it was kind of that calming series because all these series I normally watch are action based or adventure based or there's some form of violence. But in this one, yeah, it did have. I wouldn't technically call it fighting, but it had something that could be considered fighting in it. But it was more of the characters. Like this one, I felt the closest to any character because they are normal. Like there's no powers, there's no magic, there's nothing in this one. So it was kind of like that nice change of pace. Um, I do have to admit it was a little slow at the start, and I did fear like I was gonna stop watching it. I'm glad I didn't though because it picked up after like a couple episodes. I think around episode 20, somewhere around there. It did pick up, and I just started enjoying it more and more and more. To where like I watched more than one series at once, so I would always be like, "Oh my gosh, I want to watch Sket Dance right now." And then I would get to it, and I'd be like, "Oh, thank you, this is that." I started liking the episodes more. Um, I love the development for all three characters. The backstories, those to me they were my favorite episodes in the entire series. Like the backstory for Switch, the backstory for Himiko, and the backstory for Bosun, they they really made me see these characters. They made me learn more about them and understand why they acted the way they did, which is something that not a lot of series do. I mean, series do backstories, but not this one. I feel like the backstories for these characters were so, I don't want to say effed up, but they were just horrible. Like just what happened to all three characters. Like it's I felt it was like I felt bad for them, right? But at the same time, I like how they changed their lives. That's how you show the progression. Like having this horrible incident and still being able to get over it and then turn into who they are. Because as a group, it just worked together. Like all these three backstories help them to be together. If let's say Himiko her her friend hadn't betrayed her, maybe she wouldn't would be in the other school still, and she wouldn't be with Bosun. And if Switch, if his brother hadn't died, then maybe he wouldn't be who he is today, and he would still be in the upper classes, and basically he wouldn't be in the group. So it's like this thing where the backstories connected the characters. It was like the backstories is what makes the characters united, and I felt like that was something like great about the show. Um, it was kind of is this the show that made me feel a lot of emotions. Whether it was the happy times or whether it was the sad times. The romantic ones were kind of awkward, but which made it funny. Um, so it was a lot of things. Like, and one thing that I feel like I was cheated on is the ending wasn't what I was expecting. Like, I don't know if there's more in the manga because I haven't read the manga either. Like, I really need to get back to manga, but like I was always Bosun and Himiko forever. Like I was that kind of person, and then I would be like switch with Momoka. After uh, I want to say when she started being an actress, I was like Switch and Momoka are gonna be together. Like I just had that thought in my head. Um, but they didn't do anything. I was like, that's awful. What a way to end it. But it was still a good show. I did enjoy it. I will probably watch it later in my life, probably again, because it was a nice change of pace. I did enjoy it. Probably won't watch the first 15 episodes because they were really slow. I will admit it. The show starts slow, but I do recommend that if you're looking for a nice change of pace from your usual action comedy or all that stuff, because it's a really calm series. It's just a nice show. So yeah, number 6 we have Spins. Number 5. coming in at number 5, we have Fairy Tail. Fairy Tail is amazing. I'll say it just flat out right now. The fight scenes are epic. Like, just watching it just gets you so hyped up and so pumped up with like adrenaline. You're like, it's crazy. Um, the comedy bits, they're hilarious. Happy, who for those of you who do not know, is a cat. If you do know the series, you obviously know that Happy is a troll. Uh, the bits with him, I always laugh. Like I have not laughed at any of the jokes that they do with him. Um, I always think it's funny how he just comes in at like random times and just trolls everybody. Um, I like one of the most recent kind of gimmicks or jokes with him was when Ersa was with Gerard and like he just comes in out of nowhere and like starts trolling her out. He loves him and it's just funny. And then Ersa just kicks him into the sky. And I was like, oh my gosh, Happy, what the heck? Um, it was funny though. I love Happy. Also, this is actually one of the first series in a really long time. Where just strictly from the first episode, I was already captivated. Natsu is a boss. Like, there's no question about it. Like, his fights are like tremendously epic to where it's like have rewatched a lot of his fights just because they're so awesome, and I love how they work with him because he's such a badass, and like his power is so great and he's so awesome, and like the gimmick they give him is like the most stupidest thing, and it's like you can be the most powerful wizard in the world, but you can still have the stupidest weakness, and the way it works is like he does all this cool stuff and like he beats the enemy in such an awesome way, and then like he gets on a train and he can't do anything. Like even in the first like episode, he like shows up on trying to rescue Lucy, and he gets on the boat and he can't do anything. Like it's just so horrible how that works. It's like you're awesome at everything except in moving vehicles. And like it doesn't even have to be a vehicle because like he was in a raft one time and he was going, oh gosh, I can't move. So I do like his gimmick though. It's funny. I never get tired of it. Then as Lucy is that though, like she's the other main character, but I don't really like. To me, she's like the weak link of the team. So I don't like. It's not that she's bad. It's just that she fails a little too often. I'm all in the whole Natsu and Lucy have to stay together, and Lisana's like, you're too late. Like, um, but the one girl in this whole series who I always root for is Erisa, and that's because she's a beast. She's like the coolest person in the show. She's just amazing. I love her fights too, just because she just the way she fights and how the skills she uses, the quickness of her ability is tremendous. Plus the fact that she adapts to like every situation. That I think those powers are cool. Um, plus she's just awesome in general. Like she took down 100 enemies by herself. So it's like, and she took a cannon blast, like a huge cannon blast, and just blocked it. And it was like, nope, you're not getting past. Like she's that one character. Well, where like yeah, after she's a little weaker, but during the fight, no, you just can't deal with her. Um, and I love her romantic parts. Although they sometimes feel really awkward, because she's like that very strong-willed woman. So when she goes girly girl, it's like what? I do like the parts where she goes girly girl for like comic relief. Like those are funny. Like I like them because she's like it's kind of like teasing Lucy and it works. So it's like an even funnier gimmick. Um, but yeah, it's an awesome show. I definitely recommend it to anyone who hasn't watched it. Yeah, if you're like me, you'll just be dragged in by the awesomeness. Um, of course, I can't forget Gray, who's the other one on the team. His gimmick is a little weird, and it took me a while to get used to because he always gets, he strips naked. I mean, he does keep his underwear, but he strips, and it kind of took me a while to get used to that. And even after hearing the backstory, I was still a little weirded out because that was like a long time ago, and he still does it, and it's really awkward. But the gimmicks with him and Juvian are freaking hilarious. I love. I'm still waiting. That's gonna happen, and even more so now. I definitely would put this series one more above, but the thing that's keeping it below number four is that it stopped. I mean, it hasn't ended technically. At least that's what they say. But it stopped in the middle of of a plot to where I don't have like the other one ended after a plot, so I'm still waiting for the rest of it. Like afterwards, maybe it will probably most than likely go to number four. But for right now, it is at number five. So Fairy Tale, woo, watch it. Number four. And coming in at number four, we have Bleach. Now, the reason why Bleach is above Fairy Tail is strictly due to the fact that it's longer. So I was able to, I was more connected and I was able to get into the series for a longer period of time. Now, that does not mean that it will stay above, because if Fairy Tail continues like I'm hoping it will, and then I'll be able to, it's kind of like gonna catch up. And considering Bleach stopped so abruptly, and that kind of made me mad, because they didn't finish the series. Like, yeah, they finished the plot of the last season, but there was way more to watch, and so I was kind of, I was like, you left us hanging, you left the fans hanging. So that's one reason why Bleach is not even not higher up, obviously. Um, Also, another factor that is keeping Bleach at this spot is the fact that the main character isn't even in my top 10 favorites of the show, which is a bad thing. If your show's main character is not an attraction for the fan watching it, there's gonna be problems with that. I did enjoy the show though. I love the fights were awesome. I love the interaction with the side characters. It's something a lot of series don't do. Like they only focus on a specific set of characters, but in this one, you had an extensive cast that actually mattered a lot, like in a tremendous way. So I do commemorate Bleach for that. It's something that a lot of other series need to start doing, like not just focus on a certain set of characters, but do a wider variety. Um, but yeah, I Bleach will forever hold at least a spot in my top 10. I don't think it'll ever leave the top 10. I do plan at some point to buy the manga because I do not want to stay where we left off. Because that filler, I gotta say, was horrible. No, it wasn't horrible, but it wasn't that good in my opinion. Um, so yeah, I do want to continue on. I'll eventually get into that, but. Yeah, Bleach. It's one that I actually have rewatched episodes. I did start it a little bit later than a lot of the other series. Cause I mean, like in terms of, cause I started watching it. I think episode like in the 80s. Like the first episode I saw was in the 80s, and then I watched the series from the beginning. Um, So yeah, Bleach. Well, it's a good show. I do suggest it. It is quite a long, for its run. It's like 366 episode. Um, and it's just a good show to watch. I suggest it to anybody. likes action based, because this is a really action based. There's not a lot of other stuff. In my opinion, like a lot of the other factors weren't that like good. The action is what really draws you in. So yeah, number four, we had Bleach. Number three. Now for the next three series, it was actually like really hard to deliberate how it would work out. Because I love all three series a tremendous amount. So at number three, we have Avatar: The Last Airbender. And I'm probably gonna get a lot of hate for this one, because it's not. To some people, it's not considered an anime. I did see it as an anime, and I actually researched it, and to me, it is an anime. Some people debate it's a cartoon because of the way it looked, like um, the way the character designs were. But to me, it's an anime because an anime has to have certain qualities. It's supposed to be there's a story. The characters develop. There's a development for the characters. Um, there's a feel with the characters. Cartoons don't do that. Like they never are able to do that. Cartoons are made for comedy. But Avatar to me, it was a perfect mix though. Like although it is at number three, it's that one series that I don't think could ever falter from its spot. It will always be in the top three. Because to me, Avatar had a story. It had a captivating story. The characters to me were invigorating. Like you couldn't really hate on anybody. Like to be honest, I didn't hate any of the characters in the show. Um, of course, I didn't like Azula because she was a bad guy, and I didn't like her father because he was a bad guy. They played their role so well though, to where it was like I couldn't hate the characters. I loved the way the character was. I didn't like the character because they weren't supposed to be liked, but I didn't hate the character. Um, the voice actors and actresses for this show, they were phenomenal. This this show is just, to me, it's very personal. Like I have rewatched the series. I would say a total of four times already, and I would probably continue watching it because of the show. I never get tired of. I have to say this is the one and only series I have ever watched where I did not hate a single episode, and that's saying a lot. Like I feel like there's just no series that could compare to it in that aspect. Um, it's just, I don't know. It was just so wonderful that the characters, I have to say, I connected with almost all of them. Like um, the way Aang was, I was like, that that's cool. Toph, I have to say, was one of my favorite ones. So I did. Aang was my favorite character, but Toph it's a close second. She was hilarious. Like I loved her. Her gimmick was cool. Um, I just those characters are the one thing I have to say has Avatar at such a high standard for me. It's like I wish that more series could go towards that concept to where you can dislike a character because of who they are, but not hate the character because it's portrayed the way it's supposed to be. Not all other series do that, and that's why Avatar can never fluctuate down. Like I can never see it under my top three. Like it just could never falter under it. Um, so if you have yet to watch it, which I would be surprised because it's a little old already, I do suggest watching it. It is a good. It's just awesome. You'll really love it. It's incredible. I do hate the fact that they created a live action for it and it was terrible. Like I was one of those huge fans that was really excited for the movie, and then when it came out, I was like, "This is a piece of garbage." Um, but they could have done so many better things. That they kind of changed the way the characters were, and that's something you don't do with a series like Avatar. You don't change the characters because the way they were just right. So. Um, it's just the action wasn't bad either. Like I love the fight scenes that happened, um, and it was just great. I have Um, I don't know. I honestly can't think of anything right now that I didn't like about the series because that's just how great it was for me. Um, but yeah. So at number three, we had Avatar: The Last Airbender. Number two. And coming in at number two, we have Naruto. Now, a lot of people will probably think this is like, okay, why would you put Naruto over Bleach? And the other series, considering this is like a mainstream kind of show. But to be honest, Naruto was that one series where when I first saw the trailers initially, um, I was a little skeptical whether it was going to be a good show. I mean, I saw this kid in an orange jumpsuit, and they're supposed to be ninjas, and I thought the whole concept was really stupid. I was really young at this age, so like, if I was thinking of that back then, that meant something. Like, but I gave the show a chance. I watched the first episode. I wasn't immediately hooked, but I did. I was like, okay, so I wonder where this is gonna go, and I continued watching it and watching it, and through time, I'd say the one reason why this is over Bleach, in my opinion. I mean, I don't like Ichigo, so like he's just bleh. But Naruto has slowly, gradually, just started coming up in the ranks. Like I didn't really like him that much at first, but over time, like I've started to actually enjoy the character, and I feel more connected to him as a person. Um, and his powers are kind of limited, and that's actually to me somewhat okay. I do wish that they would develop him a little bit more. I mean, his powers consist of Shadow Clone, Rasengan, and summoning, which he doesn't even use, and then the QB mode. I do wish that they would have developed him a little bit more, but it doesn't bother me too much. Um, but like I said, he's slowly. I mean, he's already in my top 10. Like he's actually probably in my top five favorite characters in the show at this point. Um, and just like the other characters, like he's not my favorite, but I connect with a lot of the other characters. Shikamaru, I have to say right now, is my favorite character. A lot of people say, "Oh, he's just a lazy guy." Well, I kind of feel like I am like him. I am a sort of smart guy, so, but I am lazy at times. I don't like. It takes a lot of drive for me to do stuff that when I don't need to do it, like that kind of sense. Like if I don't have to do it, I like to take my time with it. I procrastinate. I have a tendency to procrastinate a lot. But it's this sense like the show over time. Like the first series was okay, and then part two came, and I was even more interested. Like when they canceled, Naruto, like they canceled Toonami back in I don't even remember what year it was. It was a while ago, and they stopped showing Naruto. I went out of my way to continue watching the show. Like that's one thing that I haven't done with other series. But it was a good show. It's just I keep liking it more and more. Every episode that comes out, I like it. The only problem I have, and one reason why this is at not number one, and will probably never reach number one, is the fillers are total bull. I The fillers I have liked for Naruto are so few to where like I could call, and there's so many of them. This is like half a series, half fillers, and like the fillers part I don't really like, but the actual story has me always intrigued to always want to see more, always want to watch more, and it just that's what keeps me in. The filler is just nonsense. They should probably stop doing it as often as they do, but it's a show that I won't watch. I won't stop watching until it's over. And it's also one that I have actually gotten into fights with because I mean not physical fights, but arguments. Uh, the fan wars. Those things are fun for me. Like this is probably one of the only few series where I will actually get in a fan war, and it's like I'm probably gonna get a lot of hate for this from the other side of fans. But I'm a Narusaku, and I have always been Narusaku, so I would get into arguments with Naruhinas, and it would be kind of a weird argument. You're talking about just something that doesn't exist, and you get into a fight over it. But it's fun. Like afterwards, I get a laugh out of it. So yeah, I'm Narusaku. So whatever Naruhito fan watches this, I'm sorry. I don't mean to push that on you guys. Um, but yeah, Naruto is the show that I will watch until it's over. I have made endings in my head before. I mean, I know it's not gonna be any of the ones I thought of, but it's an interesting one. But yeah, so Naruto is gonna be at number two. So yeah, and finally, number one. And coming in at number one, we have probably gonna get a little hate for this one, but Pokemon is my number one favorite anime of all time. Before you freak out or go crazy, I will explain why. Just like Digimon and Yu-Gi-Oh, I have been with Pokemon since I was a little kid. It's been with me since just like forever. Um, but unlike Digimon and Yu-Gi-Oh, they don't have this secondary franchise in the whole franchise that just I don't like. But there is one reason why I could say that Pokemon is that number one. That's different from all the other reasons I have said to this point. Not only do I have the show to watch, I have the games to play. When I first started, watching Pokemon, back when I was a little kid, I got Pokemon Red. That was my first ever Pokemon game, and I was watching the show. Like I did it both basically at the same time, and I felt a connection with Ash. Like I was a little kid back then, so like I could compare myself to the way Ash was. Because seeing him progress throughout the show, throughout the series. Now I know that he like I could see him and he would do something and it would be good, and then I would go in the game and then I would do something and it would be good, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I did it just like I obviously wouldn't be the same way as him because the games are a little bit different. Um, but I felt that was my initial connection with the show. Like I literally felt like I was Ash, just with a different set of Pokemon and a different storyline. And that's another thing. Like the show has its own story, and you can follow, and then you play the games, and it's its own story. So it's like for me to be able to watch something and see how it progresses, and then being able to transfer that into the game, it's like this internal connection. That's just for me, it's unbreakable. Uh, Also, like Pokemon has helped me connect with other people. Like the other shows, I can talk to people, friends, and they'll be like, yeah, yeah. But when I was younger, like Pokemon was the big thing, right? So like that helped me become more sociable, and especially when I moved to the U.S., I had no friends, and this is actually something that helped me, connect with other people. Um, because over there Pokemon was also a big thing. So just having that as part of this franchise, I mean, you could ask any of my friends right now, and I will tell them straight up that if there's some mistake or something that I don't like, and I will tell them flat out that is wrong. I don't like it. But it's like in my mind, I'm like, yeah, I don't like it, but I don't really care, and I'll still like. To me, Pokemon can do all sorts of wrong in the series. So right now, Ash is freaking retarded, and I hated the Diamond. Like I didn't hate, but Diamond and Pearl was just awful. Like as a whole, it was just terrible. But I still watched it. I did not miss a. I have not missed any episodes at all. Like I have seen every single episode of this series. And I admit it, there's a lot of bad stuff. Ash is just way too retarded now, but I still watch the show. Like, to me, they can do anything wrong, and I will overlook it and still enjoy it because that's the way it is for me. Like, it's just that integrated into my being. Um, Also with the games too, because I will probably make a video on X and Y soon because there's a lot of stuff I wanted to, talk about, I guess. Um, but there's stuff that I don't like, but I'll still play the games. Like this is the one franchise where no matter what, I will continue to watch it. I will continue to play it until it's over, which it'll probably never be because it's a cash cow. So they'll probably just keep bringing out more stuff. Um, but it's something that I enjoy. Like, I don't really know what else to say. Like, it's just too integrated into my being, where to me it can't be bad. Like, it can have its bad moments, but it doesn't matter what those bad moments are. As a whole, I love the show, I love the series, and I love the franchise. So yeah, I don't know what else to say. That's just it. Pokemon will forever be my number one, I guess. I know that sounds kind of weird, but yeah, Pokemon will always be my number one. So yeah, Pokemon. Woo! Well, that is my list of top 10 anime series with a little bit of an honorable mentions to certain shows. Um, thank you for watching. If at any reason, obviously you have different opinions, but if there's one that you or any shows that you prefer, don't hesitate to put them down in the comment section, or with a video response. Those are always cool. Also, if don't forget, my vlog will come out Friday the 15th. I hope. I will hopefully do that. Like, seriously. Or wait, Friday? No, Saturday. Saturday the 15th. Oh, look at me, I'm saying the wrong day. So Saturday. Also, I want to start Q&A. So if there's any particular question you want to ask, post it in the comments. And the Q&A, if I am able to do it, will be on the 31st. So, yeah, thanks for watching. Don't forget to write down any anime series that you like. If there's any suggestions of shows you want me to watch, you can also put them down below. And also topics for other top 10 videos that you would like to see from me. Don't hesitate to put those down below as well. And so thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later. SoresanCrockxen out.